Bell convenience shop in Bayside, Queens was shut down by the New York City Sheriff's Office after allegedly selling unlicensed cannabis products, but it could reopen.
It's the first case that a judge of the Supreme Court has issued opinions and rulings on what the statute requires at a basic minimum.
In June, the Sheriff's Office inspected the store and recovered alleged cannabis products. Immediately, a summons was served and sealing order, but the summons was served to an employee.
Instead of doing it the right way and serving the manager or the officer or the owner of the corporation, they've created some fictitious term called authorized person.
The summons was dismissed on procedural grounds, so the judge in his decision said that should have been the end of the case. But the hearing officer recommended the store to be closed because she believed there was illegal activity happening.
So what this judge said is, if that's defective service, then you have to dismiss not only the summons, but you can never get to imminent threat. You have to dismiss everything.
The continuing crime problems in New York City, that's been going on for quite some time now. Part of it is due to illegal migration that we have gangs from Venezuela and many other countries that have ripped into New York City. And we've had other situations where basically we have mental instability on the streets of New York by the homeless and drug addicts on there. You have those who are of the actual citizens that are of the criminal element that are being arrested and then being re-released back into the public immediately to end up doing even more crimes. But one crime that has been, just total insanity. And I said this, when they approve this, is literally going to be a major problem. And it has been. And that's what we're talking about, the cannabis rollout that has happened through the OCM, the Office of Cannabis Management, through the governor of New York, and, of course, the mayor of New York as well. And, what that has caused, or literally, because of all the licensing situation and the lawsuits upon lawsuits, the head of the OCM resigning his position, you have many other issues that have been going on. And one of the major issues is the illegal cannabis trade that's been going on there in either smoke shops, beauty stores, delis, you name it, it's there. And you may ask yourself, well, how they would resolve a situation of this? Well, they would violate the Constitution. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they have violated the Constitution. And I told you another story that it hasn't even touched the headlines of any paper, media outlet, or anything like that, whereas a deli in the middle of the Bronx was shut down, and basically a judge unpadlocked it, reopened it, and it caused a health issue because basically what happened was they weren't able to secure their food products, their refrigerated food products, which was removed from the refrigerators by the sheriff's department looking for illegal cannabis. And basically, it's now cleaned up. They're back open. They're running. But something similar has happened to another place in Queens. And yes, they have literally being said that they're going to be able to reopen again because of this judge's decision. And because of this judge's decision and, that particular lawsuit that's going on, they may not have to go forward with that lawsuit because this judge may have just dealt a blow to Operation Padlock.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
From the New York Post, hundreds of apparent illegal New York City pot shops at risk of reopening as judge deals a blow to Adams' Operation Padlock. Hundreds of apparent illegal pot shops shuttered as part of Mayor Eric Adams' high-profile crackdown could be at risk of reopening thanks to a new ruling that found that the city is skipping out on the legal process. Yes, I've said this before. They're not going in with a warrant. They're saying, well, we're here to inspect your store. By what law? They said, well, we have this little... No. Without a warrant, without a direct situation that basically, they don't have the right to go into someone's back room, someone's house, without a court order. The decision by Queens Supreme Court Justice Kevin Kerrigan allowing a Queens convenience store to reopen could unravel the city's entire swagger effort, dubbed Operation Padlock, to protect, the attorney re-upped the shops said. Almost every store has the right to be reopened, said Lance Lazaro, the lawyer for the Bell Grocery and Deli in Bayside, dubbing the process for closing the shops a kangaroo court. Lazaro client was served by the city sheriff's office with a summons alleging that the store was selling illicit cannabis after officials claimed that they found 7 pounds of cannabis product inside in June and padlocked it. An administrative court, however, dismissed the summons because it was improperly served. But the sheriff was allowed to make a final call and keep the shop closed, something Kerrigan ruled deprived the store owners of their due process rights. The court acknowledges that the unlicensed sale of cannabis within the city of New York represents an enormous public health concern, the judge wrote. However, summarily shuttered businesses prior to taking the necessary steps to determine whether a violation has occurred stands against the cornerstone of American democracy and procedural due process. The scathing ruling adds that if sheriffs elect to continue the sealing order absent a finding of any unlicensed activity, the individual is deprived of due process under the law. In other words, simply, they don't have the evidence. They've only had people calling up saying,
911, what's your emergency?
excuse me, the store in the corner seems to be selling pot on a constant basis. Could you come and take care of it? But that's, not how you do things. It's not how you investigate things. I mean, come on, any person who's watched, I'm not a law enforcement lawyer or anything like that, but anyone watching Law and Order who have seen this, or any cop show, knows the rule of law. And of course, you've heard it from many YouTube lawyers right here on this social media platform and on any of the other social media platforms that we air on. Let's read on. The significant ruling effective core of the administration court hearings held after a store is shuttered due to Operation Padlock's almost a farce because the sheriff can do whatever the hell he wants, Lazo told the Post. Who the hell made them the sheriff, judge, and jury, Lazaro said. It's almost a complete denial of due process where the sheriff has the ultimate authority. Despite what happens at the hearing, they still can reject it. On Friday, an appeals court ordered the stores to remain closed pending a final ruling. Nearly 950 stores have been issued summonses from the sheriff's office, according to the New York Times, which first wrote about the ruling, and almost 140 of them have been dismissed. Understand this also. There's supposed to be an OCM court, and there hasn't been anything going on with that. Honestly, most of these court cases have been dismissed automatically because nothing is going on, or they've been put on the back burner. According to the Adams administration, over 900 shops have been shuttered through Operation Padlock, with an estimated 60 million of illegal products seized. We are confident that we're acting in accordance with the law to protect public safety. We are reviewing the decision and evaluating our options, said City Hall spokesman Liz Garcia. The sheriff's office did not reply to a request for comment. Lazaro, who represents several other shops in similar proceedings, as well in a related federal class action lawsuit, charged that the city's apparent failure to follow the law by not properly serving their summons to the required persons is systematic, not just one-off error. That's been their blueprint for serving here, and been arguing in every case, Lazaro told the Post. Regardless of the violation, if you have a defective service, that everything else fails, said attorney M. Daniel Bach, who argues in front of the city's administration court known as Oath regularly. Bach also represents a handful of stores shuttered by Operation Padlock, a few of them which also have been able to unlock a bit temporarily. Although these cases haven't had the same services defects in as the Queen's case, Bach says if the service is improper, then everything should be dismissed. Also, and like I said, warrant, basic warrant. You're violating how many lines all the way up to the 14th of the Constitution, Amendment of the Constitution, are you violating? Operation Padlock to Protect began last spring and mostly have met with acclaim by New Yorkers who decry the rampant illicit pot shops that have sprung across the city since marijuana sales were legalized in the state. But just in the last few weeks, critics have started to pick at Operation Padlock, claiming it might not be as locked up as it seems. City Controller Brad Lander, who recently launched his bid to challenge Adams in next year's Democratic primary, wrote a letter seeking detailed information about the operations this summer. And earlier this month, a former Bronx undersheriff filed a federal lawsuit claiming that his 10-year career in the office was ruined after he sounded the alarm that the pot raids could be illegal. You know, this is what I've said before, and I've said this in many videos concerning about this. Now, understand, you may say to yourself, well, you want the illegal trade to happen. I said, no, I want them to go away. You know, here in Staten Island, we got a bunch of them. And, you know, they shut down a couple of them. Those are going to end up to be reopened once again due to technicalities. If you're going to follow through and catch these things, you got to do it by the rule of the law. By making the sheriff judge and jury, you ain't going to be doing it. And this is the same thing that happened during COVID. They used the sheriff's department also to dictate law, to shut down restaurants that were just a block, you know, because basically certain zones were able to open and others, ones that were just literally just a half a block to a block away, weren't allowed. And basically they got to the point where, you know, we'll give the food away for free. And they arrested the owner of the restaurant after the NYPD that didn't want to arrest them at all. So basically what happened was they sent in the sheriff's department to do it. Now, listen, I have nothing against the sheriff's department. They have a job. They have a hard job here in New York. By doing this makes their job harder. And also they become the enemy of the New Yorkers. Remember that. This is a situation. You don't want that to happen. You know, we already have it happening with the NYPD. You know, these guys, they have a hard job as it is to fight crime and situations here in New York. You don't need to do what you're doing, Mayor Adams. And I'm, you know, going right toward him, and also Kathy Hochul. This was approved by both of them. You know, this is one where Mayor Adams, because we're around the corner, election time. You know, around the corner next year. You know, the mayor's office is up for grabs again, and I think there's going to be a lot of people running this time around because what Mayor Eric Adams has done to the city of New York is horrendous. And with the next story that's coming out, you know, he's been subpoenaed. Who knows if he makes it to the election? You know, because basically there's a lot of other stuff that's been going on in his administration that basically the DOJ and many other investigators, including the FBI, are looking into. So let me know in the comments below. Let me know, what are your thoughts about this? Do you agree that this is just basically illegal that they're shutting these places down, or basically good? Whatever they can do to shut them down. Let me know your thoughts about this. Don't forget to like, share this video, and hopefully today's the day I've earned your subscription. So once again, thank you for clicking on this video. Thank you for the support. We're about 11:20, 11:30 on there. Hopefully we'll get to 2,000 by the end of the year. Once again, thank you very much, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye now.